I'm going to assume, for the sake of this explanation of how the software works, that you already know what Spintax is. Spintax, often spelt YN, but also spelt IN. Both are correct, it would seem. If you want to know more, you can do an internet search for either, and you will basically find answers like this. So there in the text window at the moment is a quick explanation. If you want to read that properly, pause the video, and we're going to take that out and get started. So what we have here is an editor, much like WordPad or Notepad, but that has a built-in Spintax generator. The idea being, you can write an article and put in that Spintax as you go, and it will suggest words for you. So let's show you briefly what I mean by that. So let's say we were going to write an article and it was going to be called Eat More Fruit and Vegetables. And if we highlight the word eat, which you can do either with your mouse, much like normal highlighting, hold down the mouse button and drag over it, or easier when you're doing this, just use the keyboard shortcuts, hold down shift and move your arrow key over it to highlight that word. If I click get synonyms, and I will now get a bunch of suggestions. So this could easily be called consume more fruit and vegetables, so we'll select that one. Have more fruit and vegetables? Probably not, but for this demonstration, I'm going to select it, and we'll say, because as an example, I'm going to pick a couple of words that aren't even necessarily that sensible to put in, just to show you. Highlight the words you want. I was holding down the control key on the keyboard so I could select multiple words, and then click the use synonyms button to put them in. And that has now added the Spintax, including the original word you had. It will automatically capitalise if it needs to. It detects that from the original word you put in. So there we have a piece of Spintax dropped straight into the article for us. Now there's another way that you can use the synonym lookup, and that is, rather than have to select a word and then click the button every time, you can put this into automatic mode. You do that from the options menu. You have this tick box here, auto synonym lookup. You can also just press the F5 key to toggle it on and off. Now when that is on, if I take the same word and highlight it, it will automatically look up the possible synonyms for it, which I can then select and drop in. So that's basically the automatic thing and how that works. Now you're not limited to just using the words it puts in. You can drop your own Spintax into this as you go along. The synonym thing is purely there as a guide and as a thing to help you. Now let's load up an article that I've already got some Spintax in. This, as I say, is like an editor, so just before I do, I just quickly go across the top. Your normal file, open, save menu, copy, cut, paste, all the usual keyboard shortcuts work for these. Control C for copy, Control V for paste, and so on. You've got a find and replace, and you've got a spell checker. So everything you need in the editor is there, as well as this very handy Spintax generator. It also has this feature here to create spun versions of your articles, which we'll come to in just a second. Okay, let's load up an article. So I'm just going to open a regular PLR document, and we'll pop in some Spintax as we go. So I just want to show you really how quickly you can take an ordinary article and turn it into something that's spun. Let's turn the auto synonym lookup on, because that will make our job a little bit easier as we go. So when I need, when you, so I could have want, when you require, when you could do with. That'll do. Just drop those in. And I'm sure we can find some synonyms for service. The assistance of speed will fit. And really, you're looking for things that will work contextually correctly within your article. In this hectic, in this wild, frantic, frenzied, chaotic, all good words there. Busy, as active would fit in there. Can't use hectic because it's possible that the first one here would spin hectic, and we don't want to say in this hectic lifestyle. Hard working, say demanding, say eventful. All of those would work. And you see how quickly you can drop these into a plain text PLR document. So a synonym for modern. What's a modern? I can't use new. Contemporary we could get away with there. And so on. And once you actually get used to using this and dropping the syntax in yourself, you will fly through documents. Now remember, this isn't meant to be the absolute fastest way ever to do it. There are auto spinners out there for that. But this is just there to help you do this, because I don't know about you, but when I sit down with a document and I'm trying to think up words for individual, as we've got here, I couldn't think of all of these words. And if you use an auto spinner, it's going to drop all of them in, and it's not going to make sense, because if you had a document that said, there was talking about speed dating as this one is, and it said what's a modern single personage, or what's a single distinctive, that obviously wouldn't make sense. So you can be a little bit selective in the words that you put in. You can sometimes be a little imaginative and pop in a word that isn't perfect, but it's going to read okay. You need to remember that you're trying to make something that's going to read sensibly. We could say single person. We could say single character. I'll drop those in. I'm going to take 2 minutes to quickly whip through and pop a few more in, and then I'll demonstrate the Create Spun Articles feature. Okay, I've just done the first paragraph. It's taken me less than a minute, just by highlighting words and choosing synonyms, and occasionally I've done a manual one like there. It said spice up your life with, and I knew that the words discover and find, so I just put those in, just type them in myself and put the brackets and things in. Normally, of course, you go on and finish the whole article, but I want to show you how this outputs. So let's create in a folder, empty folder, and we're going to say this is it's all about speed dating, and I wanted to try and generate 20 articles. Now, be sensible. In fact, for this demo, I'm going to say 10. If you've written an article and you've hardly put any syntax in it, it's not going to be able to produce 100 variations. And all you're going to do is slow the program up, because it will try and make each version as unique as it can from the previous ones. If it can't, it will just give up and pump one out it's either similar or identical to one that's already done. So in this case, I've only done a paragraph or so. If I said give me 100 variations, I don't think I'm going to get them, but 10 or 20 is probably sensible with the amount of words and variations that I've done. So I'll have 10 versions of that. Click the generate button and now let it go to work, and you will see it's fairly quick. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but then it's doing a lot of double checking and making sure that what it's creating is unique. So that's now finished. When you see the button reappear, that's complete. So now let's open that folder up and take a look at what it's produced. So here is the output folder. Here are our 10 versions. If I just load one up, So this is version number 1. Remember, I've only put Spintax in the first paragraph. So I'll just read the first line. In this frantic, eventful lifestyle that runs the modern world. Version 2 has put in this hectic, demanding lifestyle that runs the modern world. So you see that it's created the spun versions as requested. Now the other thing to tell you about is that this will also allow you to do nested Spintax. I'm not going to get into that massively here. If you've read up about Spintax or you've had experience of it, you'll know that sometimes there's a benefit in doing some Spintax and then within there putting some more Spintax in so that you can get various combinations of things out. This supports nesting as many levels as you want to go, really. I wouldn't recommend going much beyond 4. The software gets a little bit slow in its generation when it's got Spintax that's nested too deep. In my personal experience of doing spun articles, I've never really gone more than 2 levels deep anyway, so that is more than adequate. The rest of the software is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to do a spell check, then it's on the menu. You can set your spell check up, you can do a spell check. Nothing spelt wrong there, that's fine. There are, if you're not using automatic mode and you're using these, there are shortcut keys for the get and use synonyms. If I come down here and highlight the word traditional and do Control G, does get synonyms, and then when you've selected the ones that you want to use, Control U uses the synonyms and puts them in for you. So useful shortcut there. Other than that, just all the usual stuff. When you finish working on an article, I always recommend you save the spin version of it. So, and this just saves this out as a text file. So I'll call this speed dating, and this as with spin, so that I know, and I can save that out, and I can load this up later on and use it again. You can also submit articles to certain submission services that have this Spintax already in, so you can save the document in this format and upload it to them, and they send it to various sites, but they spin it on the way. I think JetSpinner is one particular service. There are others out there, so you can use it just for that as well. But I hope you can see that this is just a quick way of writing articles and getting spun versions of them. Its best use is obviously for articles you write yourself, so the content is original anyway, and if it takes you 10 minutes to write an article, if you add a couple of minutes to that as you go, using the synonym and the spinning thing, you're going to be able to generate hundreds of versions in about 12 minutes. So that extra 2 minutes is going to get you 80, 90 more variations of your article. And that's it.